ربنا زدنا علما أجمعين وعلمنا الكتاب آمين. How's everyone doing?
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
بخير الحمد لله.
بخير الحمد لله.
بخير. بخير.
Alhamdulillah.
Okay. How many people got the homework done? 100%.
100% I don't have, I have 75%.
75? You already graded it? You knew what was right, you knew what was wrong?
I don't know correct or wrong,
I think I
but
did
I
100%.
did.
Oh, you did 75% of it, okay. That's good. Let's hold off, we'll discuss, we'll do verb practice first and then we'll do the homework. Okay? So, what is this first thing? Kataba, right? So I wrote it different, I wrote it separate, disjointed for a reason. But the thing that we're learning so far is that in Arabic, like there's roots that imply meaning. Okay, when letters are arranged in certain form or certain arrangements or certain orders, then they imply a certain meaning. Okay, so if I put a kaf and a ta and a ba next to each other, that's gonna mean that there is something having to do with writing. Something is being written or someone is writing. It's something to do with writing out something. Okay?
Writing or reading?
Writing. But if I put letters like qaf, ra, and hamza, then that arrangement, the qaf, ra, and hamza, means that something is being recited or something is being read. Okay, so the kataba, it means that it has something to do with being written or writing, and then this qaf, ra, alif has something to do with reading, right? And if I put noon, sad, and ra together, then what am I trying to express? Something to do with like helping, right? Or giving victory or giving assistance to. Okay? So basically this is how all of the Arabi is formed. It's formed by three root letters or sometimes four, and they're all trying to imply something. Okay? And when you put it in a certain pattern or a certain arrangement, then that's how you get the concrete meaning. Okay? If I just put fathas on all of these and I just connect them, kataba, then I make a fi'l, right? I make a verb. Remember when we did ism, fi'l, and then what was the third thing? Particle. So when I just put these three letters together, I can get a fi'l, I can get a verb. Can I make this into a ism?
Yes.
How?
Afalu.
Af'alu, okay, that's one pattern. If I put it into the pattern of af'alu, I can make it into an ism. What's another word? What if I want to say a writer? Writer is a person, right? Someone who writes is a writer.
Right.
So how do I say writer?
Oh man,
So this is what we're going to learn, or this is what we already sort of learned, is called the ism fa'il. The fa'ilun pattern makes something a subject. It makes it a noun. It makes it a doer of the action. Okay? So I take the three letters and I put it in this pattern, and I'm going to turn it from a verb to a ism fa'il. Okay? So what am I going to put after the kaf to make it into this pattern? What's on the first?
Kati.
A fatha, right? A fatha and an alif. So here goes my fatha and alif.
Oh,
What's on the second root?
Katibun.
Kasra. Okay, so there's a kasra right there. What goes on the third root?
Marfu.
Just tanween, right? So I'm gonna just do this.
Katibun.
Katibun.
Katib.
Someone who is writing or someone who writes. Okay? So I can do this with any other three letters. So for nasara, how am I going to make it ism fa'il? Nasirun. So all I do is just do the same pattern.
See, do.
So Nasir, it means the person who, it's a writer.
Someone who is helping.
Nasir?
Nasir.
Oh,
Abdul Nasir.
Yeah? Al-Nasir is one of Allah's names, right?
My
The
middle
one
name
who
is
gives
Nasir.
victory or the one who gives help. But also Nasirun, you can say to a person who he is a Nasir. Okay? And then what about Qara'a?
Qari'un.
Right? It follows the same pattern. Qari.
Un.
Okay, usually you drop this alif and you just leave the hamza. So this is basically, right, so formula, you take any three root letter, you're going to get this. And then I think we did this before too. If I put ta, ba, and ayn, okay? Ta, ba, ayn. What's the meaning of this combination?
Qariun? Qari.
Taba, taba, ayn. It's in the chart.
Okay.
It's on the fifth column, the last one.
Fifth from the left or from the right?
Fifth from the right.
He followed.
To follow, right? So taba'a gives the meaning of something being followed. Okay? Now if I want to say follower, how do I say it? Tabi'un.
Oh, okay.
Tabi'un.
Oh, that's one of them. This is like a very common word.
Tabi'un is the name that we give for what? The companion. The people who followed the companion, so they're called the tabi'un. Or actually, the plural, how do you make it plural? Tabi'un. This is just the follow. This is just making it plural.
So we can also say sahabiyun or sahaba.
Sahaba is from ashab.
Oh.
Yeah. So, yeah, actually, I think it's a different one, but sahib is also a verb, is also an ism fa'il. Sahibun is from sahaba. So this like suhba or sahaba is like friendship or companionship. Okay? So sahib is like a friend. Okay? Alright, let's do practice. So for kataba,
Kataba.
go ahead, just you, brother. Kataba.
Kataba.
Mhm.
Katibu.
For huma, say it for all 14.
Oh.
Back to our previous.
Kataba. Kataba.
Katabu.
Katabu.
Mhm.
Katabat.
Mhm.
Katabata.
Mhm.
Katabna.
Katabna.
Katabtum.
Katabta.
Katabta. Katabtuma.
Mhm.
Katabtum.
Mhm.
Katabti.
Mhm.
Katabtuma.
Katabtuma.
Katabtumna.
Mhm.
Katabta.
For I wrote.
Katabata.
Katabtu.
Katabtu.
Mhm.
And katabna.
Katabna. Okay. What's huwa?
Kataba.
Kataba and hiya.
Katabi. Katabta.
Kataba.
Katabat.
Okay. And hum.
Katabna.
Hum.
Katabtuma.
Katabu.
Katabu.
Katabu and ana.
Ana, it should be Katabu.
Okay. Brother Najm will do nasara.
Nasara,
Mhm.
Nasara, Nasaru,
Mhm.
Nasarat, Nasarata,
Mhm.
Nasarna,
Nasarna.
Nasarata,
Nasarta.
or Nasarta,
Oh, sorry. Did you say
Nasarta,
nas? Okay.
Nasarta,
Nasir, Nasir.
Nasarna, nasarta. Go ahead.
Nasartuma,
Yep.
Nasartum,
Mhm.
Nasarti,
Yep.
Nasartuma, nasartunna, nasarna, nasaru, nasarna,
Nasartu.
nasartu.
I helped is nasartu. Nasarna is we helped.
Yeah.
What's she helped?
Nasarat,
Nasarat. And they helped? Group of men.
nasaru,
Nasaru. And you helped a woman.
nasarati,
Nasarti. And I helped?
nasara, nasartu.
Nasartu. You gotta remember the Nasartu. Paul, do for taba'a.
Taba'a,
For he followed. Yep.
taba'a,
Mm-hmm.
taba'u,
Mm-hmm.
taba'at,
Mm-hmm.
taba'ata,
Mm-hmm.
taba'na,
Taba'na.
taba'ta,
Mm-hmm.
taba'tuma,
Yep.
taba'tum,
Yep.
taba'ti,
Mm-hmm.
taba'tuma,
Mm-hmm.
taba'tuna,
Mm-hmm.
taba'tu,
Yep.
taba'na,
Alright. And he followed?
taba'a,
Taba'a. She followed?
taba'at,
Taba'at. They followed, a group of men.
taba'tu,
Taba'u.
taba'u,
Taba'u. We followed?
taba'una,
Taba'na.
taba'na.
Taba'na. Okay. And then in the homework I put ra'aytu. Okay. Ra'a is a verb we're gonna see in this chapter, but we're gonna go over it later in the next chapter. Okay. All right. So this is a verb that we're gonna do later on in the book, but because it has a ya, it's classified as a weak verb. Okay. Weak verbs. They're called weak because they follow different patterns of conjugation, but you can actually still conjugate most of them normally. Okay? So the first letter, the root is ra, then it's hamza, and then it's ya. When it's just like this, when I want to say for the default he, what's ra'a mean? Ra'aytu.
I to see.
I saw,
See,
right?
I saw.
So what's ra'a?
Oh, I think I got the pattern. Ra'a is he saw.
He saw, right? So everything in the default pattern is for he, third person singular.
And it's
Okay.
Ra'a and Ra'a, right?
It's when the ya has you remember when we were doing tajweed, right? We said
Yeah.
when there's two dots under the ya, then it makes the ya sound.
Right.
But if there's no dots under it,
And
you don't pronounce it. Okay? So you're just gonna say ra'a,
Right.
ra'a. And we're not gonna do the conjugation for huma, hum, hiya, hun, hiya, huma. But what we are going to do is what happens when you get to hunna, okay? When you get to hunna, this ya is going to get, okay. So for huwa, we're just going to skip the next 5 or next 4. But when we get to hunna,
Right.
you stay with ra'a, but the ya gets 2 dots. So now you have to pronounce it. And what happens to the third root when you get to hunna?
Sukun.
It gets a sukoon, right? So how do you say this?
Ra'i.
Ra'ay, right? And what's the fa'il for hunna?
Ra'ayna.
Ra'ayna, right? So all you do is add a noon, and then for the next ones you add. For
Ra'ayta.
anta, what do you add?
Ra'ayta.
Ra'ayta, right? And then ta, tuma, tum, ti, tuma, tunna, tuna, right? So let's do these. Ra'ayna,
Ra'ayna.
ra'ayta,
Ra'ayta.
ra'aytuma,
Ra'aytuma.
ra'aytum,
Ra'aytum.
ra'ayti,
Ra'ayti.
ra'aytuma,
Ra'aytuma.
ra'aytunna,
Ra'aytuna.
ra'aytu,
Ra'aytu.
ra'ayna.
Ra'ayna.
Okay, so we saw is
Ra'ayna.
ra'ayna. And then you saw man is
Ra'ayta.
ra'ayta. Right? So in the Quran you say ara'ayta alladhi yukadhibu bid-din. Right? So ara'ayta, did you see the one yukadhibu we're going to learn is to like lie. Ara'ayta alladhi yukadhibu bid-din, the day of judgment. The one who denies the reckoning. Okay? So you can do ra'a for all of them except the 4 that we haven't done. So we're going to get to that later. Alright, let's do the homework. So we're just gonna go across, okay?
Okay.
Brother Afnan, what's
Yes.
his book?
Kitabuhu.
Kitabuhu. So when you write that, what do you put on the ba? So kitabuhu. So what's on the ba?
Dhamma.
Dhamma. And what's on the ha?
Dhamma is right.
Dhamma. Right? Okay. So his book is Kitabuhu. Now, if I put fi in front of it, what's gonna become?
Kitabihi.
Fi.
Fi kitabihi.
Kitabihi. So why did you change it to kitabihi?
Harf jar.
Harf jar, right? So the
Makes the-
kitabu becomes kitabi, and what changes on the hu?
Ha becomes he because it's because of
Phonetics, right? It just
Phonetics, right.
flows better.
Easier
So
to say.
instead of kitabihu, you just say kitabihi to make it pronounce better.
Right.
Okay? And then what if you want to say, I saw his book?
Aitu kitabuhu.
No.
I saw his book.
So you're saying ra'aytu.
Right. I saw his book.
Okay? So where is the verb?
Aitu kitaba. Kitaba. Right.
Okay, hold on. Let's do this step by step. There's two things in ra'aytu. There's a verb and a subject. So where's the verb?
The verb is ra'ay.
Ra'ay. Just ra'ay is my verb.
Right.
Okay, where's my subject?
Tu.
Tu is my subject, okay? Now I have to see something, so it's an object, which is
Kitab.
kitaba. So the object is always?
Kitaba.
No, is it always?
No, mansub.
It's always mansub, right? It always has a fatha,
Fatha.
okay? And then what's going to happen to the hu?
What's kind of who?
It's going to stay hu, right? So the rule for the hu to drop to he is only if it's preceded by a ya with a sukun or kasra.
Right.
So, fi kitabihi, and then ra'aytu kitaba.
Kitabahu. Right.
Okay, and then the same rule follows for inna.
Inna kitabahu.
Inna kitabahu, right? So why is for inna it's kitaba?
Because inna makes the noun mansub.
Inna makes the noun mansub. Okay, so this is the reason it's there is so that you know there's two different ways to make something mansub.
Right.
Okay, so we've learned, right, all of them marfu, mansub, majroor.
Right.
We've learned how something goes from marfu to majroor, right? So when so this is two ways that something goes from marfu, kitabu, to kitaba.
Right.
Okay, so what's one way?
One is the verb.
If it's an object and a verb, and what's the other?
If it's ism.
Ism
inna.
inna, ism inna, or ism lakinna, ism ka'anna, ism la'alla. Any of the sisters of inna, it will make the ism mansub.
So what is the correct one? The inna?
Kitabaha.
So inna kitabahu.
Or inna kitabahu. Why not inna?
Kitabahu.
Innahu kitaba.
So this obviously it's not a complete sentence. So you're saying indeed his book. I didn't finish the sentence.
Right.
So why it cannot be innahu kitaba?
But it would mean the same thing. So it would mean indeed it is a book.
So in the books it says that when you use the inna and then any pronoun or any noun, then it should be double dhamma. Li aki ukhti
Like if you say li akhun.
li akhun,
So li akhun means what?
my sister.
I have
I have
a brother.
brother. I have brother. Yeah.
Right.
So if you say indeed I have a brother,
Inna
inna li
Akhun.
akhuwatin
Akhun.
akhan.
akan
Oh,
We're gonna
akhan.
say akhan.
Alright.
double dhamma,
Double fatha.
double fatha.
We're gonna say inna li akhan.
So in that case, here we can use the inna kitaban.
No, because you're not using indefinite kitab. It's definite because it's mudaf ilayhi. So you're saying book of his book. Okay, so it's definite. When it's something's mudaf ilayhi, the mudaf cannot be indefinite. So you're not gonna have two fathas, two dhammas, two anything.
But then it's like, why it changed to akhan? I forgot. Because there's a li in between. There's a li here. There's a link between inna and akun.
Yep. Okay, why does it change to this is still the subject and this is still the predicate. Okay? But they're just switched order. So in Arabic you can do that. You can switch the order of the subject and predicate. And especially with li or inda. Like if I say indi qalamun, I have a pen. Really I'm saying qalamun or indi.
Right.
Okay? So because it's like this, when I put inna in front of it, the ism inna becomes inna akhan. Inna akhan. Bi.
Got it.
Alright, so that's inna, that's his book. Let's do the second line. My house. How do you say it, Brother Nazmul? Oh, Brother Salim. Bayti. Okay, so bayti is my house. How do you write it? Bayti. Okay. So what? All right. So this ya is for mine, right? How do you say in my house? Fi bayti.
Baiti.
Fi bayti. All you do is just put fi. Does anything change on the bayti?
No.
Like it changed on the kitabihi? No, right? Because already the ta has it's being dragged down by what?
Ya
The
mutakallim.
ya mutakallim, right? So the ya mutakallim always drags it down, so you don't need to change it after a fi. Okay? And then you say, how do you say, I saw my house?
Right to.
Mhm.
Right to. Baita.
Baiti.
Bayti.
Baiti.
So again, it doesn't matter whatever you put in front of it, this
Because ya will
this
always.
ta will not change. And the reason it won't change is because of the ya mutakallim. Okay? Ya mutakallim, think of it like an anchor, it just drags everything down.
Very heavy like me.
Very heavy. Okay? And then for put inna in front of it,
Inna baiti.
inna bayti. So nothing, you just write bayti, bayti, bayti. Brother Nazmul, what's our room?
Gurfatna.
Ghurfatuna.
Gurfatna.
Ghurfatuna. What's on the ta?
Two.
It's a dhamma, right? Because originally it's ghurfatun, and then you just say ghurfatuna. Okay? And then say in our room,
Fi gurfatina.
fi ghurfatina, right? So when you put a fi in front of it, the tu becomes
Ti.
ti. Ghurfatina. And then how do you say I saw our room?
Right to gurfatna.
Gurfat.
What's on the ta?
Gurfat.
Fatan.
Fatha, right? So the ta is the last letter on ghurfa, so that's going to change to fatha. Okay? And then say indeed our room.
Inna na gurfatna.
No, just inna ghurfatana.
Inna gurfatna.
Inna ghurfatana. Okay, indeed our room. Brother Anwar, what's 5 cars?
Kamsa Sayaratini.
So, there's no specific word for car, like car,
Sayyar.
bike, or everything is sayyar.
No. The bicycle is what? You
I
remember?
got
No, hold on. That Raja.
The Raja,
The
right?
Raja.
Rajatun is bicycles. So, and bike, car is sayyara, and what's bus? You remember?
Yes.
Book 1.
Yes, I do remember.
Actually, it was on the homework.
Yeah.
I mean, it was on the email I sent.
I didn't see
Something like that.
Hafilatun.
Hafilat.
Hafilatun is bus. Alright, let's review numbers real quick, then we'll get to the 5 cards.
Right.
Alright, what's 1?
Wahid.
And what's 2?
Itnan,
Isnani.
Itnani,
Okay, and then 3?
Tahalati,
Thalathatu.
Talatu.
Okay, actually, so once you get to past 2, the ta can come in or out, right? We're gonna let's leave it in for now. Okay, what's 4? Arba'atu. I'm gonna leave the ta in for now. Arba'atu.
Khamsata.
Khamsatu.
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 ستة
Sittatu.
ثمانية
سبعة
Sittatu.
ثمانية
No, what's 7?
سبعة
Sab'atu.
Sab'atu.
سبعة
Sab'atu.
Sab'atu. And then what's 8?
ثمانية
Thamani.
Thamaniyatu.
تسعة
Tis'atu.
تسعة
Tis'atu.
عشرة
Ashra.
Tis'atu. And then 10?
عشرة
Ashratu. Ashara. And then the ta, depending on what you're counting, is gonna leave, right? So what's the rule? If I want to say 3, let's say pens, what's the plural of pen? Or 3 books? What's the plural of book? Kutubun, right? So I'm gonna write kutu. And actually, so if I tell you that between 3 and 10, the numbers are mudaf, mudaf ilayhi, what is that going to put kutu? Bin, right? So the rule is between 3 to 10, they are mudaf, mudaf ilayhi. Mudaf, mudaf ilayhi. Okay? So I'm going to say thalathatu kutu bin.
Bin.
Okay? What if I'm counting, let's say, sisters? So I'm saying akhawatin. Akhawatin. Okay, what am I going to put for 3?
Salat.
Thalathu. Thalathu. So why does that ta get dropped? Because it's the opposite of whatever it's counting. So if you're counting something that's feminine, then the ta marbuta is going to disappear. Think of it as the opposite. Okay? If there's something masculine like kitab, then the ta marbuta comes in. Okay? Thalathu akhawatin, thalathatu kutubin. Okay? So what would be 5 cars? Is car masculine or feminine?
Feminine.
It's going to be feminine, right? So it's
Yeah.
going to be on this side. So what's plural for cars?
Sayarat.
Sayyaratin. It's mudaf ilayhi, so I will say sayyaratin. And what's 5?
Khamsa.
Is it going to have the ta marbuta or no?
No.
No, right? So it's just going to be khamsu sayyaratin. Khamsu sayyaratin. Okay? Now I want to say in 5 cars.
P Sayaratin. Khamsu.
في خمس سيارات
في khamsi. Why is it khamsi?
في خمس سيارات
What happens after the fi? The ism becomes majroor. So you're going to say fi khamsi. Okay? This is heavy stuff, so if you're confused, it's okay.
P Khamsi.
But this is like if you understand this, then you understand the core, like you're understanding something very, very fundamental. Okay? Okay, what if you saw 5 cars?
Raitu.
Raitu.
خمس
Khamsu. Sayarat.
Almost. Khamsa. Why is it khamsa?
Because of the verbs.
It's the object, right? So whenever whatever the object is, it gets fatha, it gets mansoob. Okay? And then, indeed 5 cars.
Inna.
Inna.
إن سي
Inna Khamsatu Sayarat.
Without the ta. Khamsa.
Khamsa.
Inna khamsa
Sayarat.
sayyaratin. Okay? Any questions? Sister Shireen, what's this lesson?
هذا درس
Okay. I'm going to write it, you spell it. Hada.
دال
No.
no
This lesson.
look at this هذا
I know, I got hada.
درس
Al-darsu. Al-darsu. That's what I was looking for. So when I say this lesson, or this car, or this thing, I'm looking for the al to make it definite.
So we'll pick a hardest
Hada darsu.
hardest
هذا الدرس. This lesson. هذا الدرس. Don't say هذا الدرس or else it would just mean this is a lesson. It's indefinite. Okay? So how do you say in this lesson?
في هذا درسي.
في هذا الدرس. Right? So if I put في in front of it, does anything change for هذا?
No.
No, it's mabni. It stays the same. But what changes for ad-darsu?
Darsi.
It becomes a darsi, right? Because it's what is it in relation to hada? What's grammatically dars?
Mudaf.
Mudaf.
No.
No.
That's
We talked about it on Monday.
no, what was your question, Melissa?
What's a dars? We know fi is harf jar,
Right.
hada is ism majrur. What's dars?
It's the mubtada.
Alright, this is my harf jar. Okay, this is my ism majrur. Okay, there's one. This is something. It's not ism majrur.
That's subject, isn't it?
No.
No.
It's called badal.
Oh,
Badal.
right. Oh,
Badal,
right.
which means what?
It can change with who and those attached.
No, it just means substitute.
Substitute.
It's substituting for hada. Okay? So it takes on all of the properties of ism majroor. So ism majroor is majroor, so I have to make darsu into darsi. Okay? Again, we're gonna keep going over this stuff. This sheet, I'm gonna keep making these until you get it.
Inshallah.
So if you got all of them wrong today, it's okay. How do you say I saw this lesson?
رأيت
Hmm?
Darsi.
هذا درسي. درسا.
Hazat darsa, you got it. So this badal, because it's an object now, it changes to darsa. And then indeed,
إن هذا درسا.
yes. Inna hadha darsa. This lesson. So the hadha is the ism inna in this case. Okay? So if I were to write this, let me actually write this down. Because the whole point is to prove something. Okay? So we did fi hadha darsi, right? We did ra'aytu hadha darsa with the fatha, and then we did inna hadha ad-darsa. Okay. So in this case, here is my fi'l, my subject. Here is my fa'il. This is fi'l. This is fa'il, subject. What's hadha?
That's ism majroor.
No, it's not. After ra'aytu, I saw.
Oh, that's object.
Object, right? So hadha is my object. So this is what I'm trying to show. This word can have different and also when it gets to inna, so inna is a particle of, what was the thing that we said? Of emphasis.
Emphasis.
Right? So it's emphasizing whatever is coming.
Right.
And then what's hada in this case?
That's object.
No, it's ism.
Ism inna.
Ism inna.
Right. I'm sorry.
Okay. So in front of fi it becomes ism majroor.
Right.
In front of ra'aytu it becomes object. In front of inna it becomes ism inna.
Right.
So what you have to figure out is what am I reading? Am I reading something that has a harf jar or a fi'l or a particle? That's going to determine what that is grammatically. Okay? But don't worry about it too much because we're not going to go deeply into like analysis or something. But I just wanted to show that hadha can have different, and all of these can have different, grammatically, they're different grammatically. Alright, so we took up most of the time for this. Let's take a break and then we'll come back and do the rest of the page. Explain the numbers from 11 to 19, and then you can do the homework for Friday. And then also read the key. So the key number in lesson 3, number 4. We're not going to read it, I think, or we might. I don't know. 4 in the lesson 3 key explains all of the numbers from 11 to 19, but we're gonna go over them on the board, inshallah. Okay. So we've seen how these are the first 10 numbers, right?
Right.
واحد اثنان ثلاثة أربعة خمسة عشرة ستة when I want to say one of something, how do I say it? If I want to say one book, kitabun wahid. So
It doesn't require, right, why to write wahid, because kitabun itself says.
yes, you're right. So in this case, when you say kitabun, it means a book. It's indefinite, right? Kitabun, but you can still say, to emphasize,
This is one book.
wahidun. Yep. So in this, if for 1 and 2, and if I want to say 2 books, I'm going to say
Kitabani.
kitabani. So I'm going to say
Kitabani.
kitabani ithnani. Okay, or just kitabani because it's implied. So for 1 and 2, the thing that's being counted is before the number.
Right.
Okay, and that's because wahidun and ithnani are adjectives. So kitabun wahidun is an adjective of kitabun. Kitabani ithnani is an adjective of kitabani. Okay? When you get to 3 through 9, this is when it becomes mudaf ilayhi. So when I want to count books now, I have to put it after it and I have to make it mudaf ilayhi, and I have to make it plural. So
Kitabun,
kutubun. Sorry, kutubin.
Bin.
Kutubin. And all through this, all the way down, it's going to be kutubin.
Right.
Kutubin. Asharatu kutubin.
Right.
Okay? The only thing that's different is that when the thing that I'm counting is not kitab, and when I want to say count like sa'atun, which is a watch, then what changes?
Ta.
The ta just drops.
Drops, right.
Okay? Okay, so that's 3 through 10. When I get to 11, it's another rule. You're in another country now.
Okay.
Okay? So, 11 and 12,
Right.
you're going to go back to using singular. Okay? Let me actually write kitaban here just so that it makes sense. Let's say I want to say 11 books. Kitab. So notice how from 3 to 9, from 3 to 10, I'm using what? Kutubin, right? When I get to 11, and actually all the way down, I'm going back to kitab. Okay? And what's the difference between kutubin and kitaban? So one is singular, one is plural. What's the other difference?
It's mansub.
It's mansub. So in this case, it's not mudaf ilayhi. It's another thing. We're not gonna discuss it.
Right.
Also, what do you notice about ahada ashara?
Where?
What's on the end of both ahada and ashara?
That's
They both have fatha.
Okay.
Right? So this has fatha ahada ashara, ithna ashara. So between 11 and 19, all of the number and the ashara is going to have fatha. It's not going to change.
That's the rule.
It's not going to change. Yep.
Till 100 or?
no.
I think from, well, it breaks up. So for now, just 11 through 19. The arba'ata ashara. So what's going to be 15?
Khamsata
Khamsata ashara.
Right?
Sittata ashara.
Sab'ata
Sab'ata ashara. Thamaniyata ashara. Tis'ata ashara.
And for 20?
We'll go
Ashra
through
will
later.
not change.
The ashara, yeah, the numbers will have fatha.
Ashara.
That one will fall under another rule, I guess.
Okay. Alright. So,
And the following noun will always be tanween, right?
yes.
So-
Kitaban. And it will always have 2 fathas.
So
Okay?
any
It will
noun,
be singular and it will be mansub.
So this is another way the marfu will change to mansub.
No, this is not a change. This is just stuck.
So we cannot make it definite at all. It's
No,
always
you
going
cannot
to-
say al-kitaba.
So খালি
খালি আছে।
Okay.
খালি বেশি মাঝে বেশি
Alright, so this is something that's very important. I'm gonna, if I have time, I'm gonna repeat it. Between, okay, so you notice how when the numbers have a ta marbuta, they're feminine, right?
Right.
Or you can say that they're feminine, right? And we can drop them out, right? So is this ahada, is it masculine or feminine? Does it have a ta
masculine?
marbuta? It's masculine, right?
Right.
Is this salathata
Feminine.
masculine or feminine?
Feminine.
Feminine, right? So when something has ta marbuta, we're gonna classify it as feminine with quotation marks.
Right.
Also, ithna is also masculine or feminine?
Masculine.
Masculine. If I, we'll get to that, okay? So, for 11 and 12, also for ashara, is this masculine or feminine?
These are all masculine.
Masculine, right? We're just putting it in quotation marks. There's no ta marbuta.
Okay.
So, from 11 to 12, if the ma'dud, this is called a ma'dud, the thing that's being counted, is masculine, like kitabun, then both the first and second number are going to be what? Masculine,
Masculine.
right? So kitaban is masculine, so ahada has no ta marbuta, ashara has no ta marbuta. So this is masculine, masculine, and masculine.
Okay. I know where you're going to. Okay.
Same thing with 12. Ithna is masculine, ashara is masculine, kitaban is
Masculine.
okay. When you get to 13
Right.
and through all the way till 19, there's a slight change.
There's
Okay.
a mix up.
There's a mix-up.
teenagers
Yeah, the teens. Yeah, as soon as you hit the teen years,
You're messed up.
everything is flipped up. So kitaban is masculine.
Right.
Yes. Ashara is what? Masculine. What happened to thalatha?
Feminine.
It changed. It changed into
Feminine.
feminine. And this is what it is for all the way down to 19. So the ma'dud is opposite from the first number. This kitaban is masculine, this is going to be feminine. When I'm counting something that's feminine, like sa'atun, this will be masculine.
It kind of follows the same.
It's opposite, yeah. Okay?
Yeah.
Also, yeah. So for now, just for the masculine, right? So if I'm counting 13 books, I'm going to say thalathata ashara kitaban. Okay? For 14, it's going to be arba'ata ashara kitaban. For 15, it's going to be
خمسة
khamsata
عشر
ashara
كتابا.
kitaban. For 16,
ستة عشر كتابا.
so all of these first numbers will have a ta. 7,
سبعة
sab'ata
عشر
ashara
كتابا.
kitaban. 18,
ثمانية
ثمانية عشر
كتابا.
kitaban. 19,
تسعة
تسعة
عشر
عشر
كتابا.
Okay, so this is this part. So the ashara part agrees with the thing that's being counted. So this is male, and this is the opposite one. So this is I'm not gonna. So this is opposite.
كتابا.
Okay. When I'm counting something, let me put it here. Let me erase up our. Okay. So now I want to count sa'atun, a watch. Okay. So I put sa'a. Is it going to be sa'a? What's going to be? It's going to be singular and it's going to have
مربوطة.
a fatha.
فتحة.
Sorry,
Sa'atan.
2 fathas.
Tanween.
Sa'atan.
Right.
Okay. So is sa'atan masculine or feminine?
Feminine.
Feminine.
So
Okay.
the
So this, the ashara has to agree with this one. So what am I going to write?
عشرة
It has to agree with sa'atan.
أو عشرا
Asharata.
أو عشرة.
Asharata. So you notice how this ashara is masculine and this one is feminine because they both have to agree. What am I going to put for 3?
ثلاثة.
Thalatha. Is it going to be masculine or feminine?
Masculine.
Masculine.
So it's عشرة, right? Just it's not gonna follow the tanween.
How about that 11 and 12?
11 and 12, if this thing is masculine, they're all masculine.
How the feminine?
If they're feminine, they're all feminine.
Oh,
So how would you say, so the feminine for ithna is ithnata. Ithnata. I'm going to be repeating this more and more. Ithnata. Okay? So how would you say 12 watches? Ithnata, asharata, sa'atan. Okay? Because if the sa'atan is feminine, then the ashara has to be feminine, asharata, and then the ithna has to be feminine, ithnata. Okay? So for 11 and 12, all of these are matching. All of these are matching. If it's masculine, they're all masculine. If it's feminine, they're all feminine. Yeah, go ahead. But for the 13 through 19, the first number is going to be the opposite of the thing that's been counted.
Okay.
So read the fourth point in that, and then also, and I'll be online tomorrow for the tutoring. So if you have questions, we'll listen. So do exercise number 9. So actually 8 and 9. So 8 is just read all the things, and then 9 is like write them with the numbers. Okay. And we'll go over it inshallah. Okay. So 8 and 9 is the homework. Jazakumullahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum.